Good evening, Honorable Chairperson, distinguished members on the dais, friends. I know it's pretty difficult to sit late in the evening and hear all of us talk about, but I really appreciate that all of you are sitting together and looking forward to spending the evening together with you. I was asked to talk about our experience on e-governance, and while we did hear that India is an IT powerhouse and we've done lots for the world, what have we really done for the country is something that many a times questions come up. So I thought it will be a good forum to talk about what we've done essentially on the e-governance space and how we've partnered together with the government to actually make a difference to the end users as well as citizens of the country. So what I've done is I've split the presentation in two parts. One part I'd like to delve on some of the case studies. I picked up a couple of case studies which we've implemented as part of our e-governance initiative and drawn conclusions out of what are the challenges we faced, what are the benefits we accrued to the beneficiaries. And then what's the second part of my presentation, the short one of course, not too long, is how do we see going forward e-governance making a difference to the citizens of the country. So over the years, we've seen, we must congratulate Ministry of Communication and IT and all the IT departments across the states because they have done pioneering work in terms of ensuring that IT adoption and IT is adopted by the government for serving the citizens. So I mean, it's a very, very pioneering initiative. Over the last 10 years, we've been associated with the government and the NEGP program and the passion with which that has been driven across the country is admirable. That itself is a case study to be showcased. But possibly we'll showcase that case study some other time. One of the projects that we did was in the railways domain. As we all know, Indian Railways is one of the largest possibly railway network in the globe. We were asked to automate the movement of the rolling stock on the and automate the operations out of that. There were multiple benefits out of it, but the challenge was to implement e-governance or an automation solution which was replacing a 150-year-old system. The Britishers introduced the Indian Railways into our country, and we've not changed that system. We had not changed that system for 150 years. And in 2005, we were called upon by Indian Railways to automate that operation, those operations. Imagine it was the paper-based system, and many of us have traveled by trains. We all know a 2312 up, 2312 down. So that's essentially the control office. That's how the control office controls the movement of trains in the country. And the scale is humongous, all of us know. Our charter was to implement this control office automation, which would span across 7,000 stations, across 104,000 kilometers and possibly handling huge passenger load. The advantage of this was the benefits that the railways had planned and ultimately got was increase in revenue and effective freight movement, significant improvement of punctuality of transport movement. We've had a spate of accidents in the recent past, but we must say that it's really helped in terms of the movement of the trains. And of course, streamlined data collection and analysis. Now you might ask, what's the real benefit? What were the challenges in terms of doing this? And I was personally program managing that project, so I know what it took to actually convert the operations from a manual mode to a computerized mode. Believe me, it's easy to say computers right here sitting in Delhi or possibly any of the metros. But when you go down to right into the smaller cities and you ask them to implement a system wherein the trains will move only when a particular dot moves from one dot from one part of the screen to the other screen. Only then the trains will move. And imagine if the trains don't move. And that's the kind of implication that we're looking at. But it did move. We successfully implemented this project in a span of 2005-2009, which was about 4 years we took to implement this across 74 divisions all across railways. Fortunately, today, when you go to the internet and spot your train there, it picks up the data from our application. And it really gives the feed to the Indian Railways to actually understand how do they utilize their inventory more, how do they utilize their stock more, how do they ensure that the punctuality of the trains move up. So that was one big success that we felt and we saw in implementation of e-implementation in the operations of Indian Railways. We're doing another project in the policing domain. This is essentially for the crime and criminal tracking system, which will give us seamless data of criminals as well as crimes that have undertaken in different parts of the country, across the country. So here again, the challenge is to integrate 14,000 police stations, 14,000 regional nodes and 6,000 head police stations, integrating all of that together, migration of historical data, so on and so forth, multilingual language, etc., because we are a fairly diverse country that way. So here the benefits are very, very, very significant in terms of flow of information across the police stations in the country, and we really see this touching the citizens in some way or the other. We're doing another one for the insurance domain, wherein this touches all the government employees across the country, and this was possibly one of the largest implementation as on date of issuance of ID cards across the country. Multi-department engagement, integration across a spectrum of hospitals as well as dispensaries, coordinated effort in terms of ensuring that the work happens together. If we were to summarize all of this, and I must add this, I think this is important. If you go today, in Delhi today, all the MCD hospitals run our application. This takes right from the patient registration to discharge. The entire automation is done by us, wherein we've automated electronic medical records. If a patient, we all know MCD is one of the largest municipalities in the world, and we offer free patient services. A minute or two more. We offer free patient services to all citizens in the country and obviously people in Delhi. So a citizen of Delhi, a resident of Delhi can actually walk across to any MCD hospital, give his pathology sample and see the sample later in the evening on the internet. These all things are available in private hospitals, but to see it happen and touch the citizens of the country is really good. So if you really see the challenges, when I've spoken about this, disparate IT landscape, project delays were significant, business process change management is very significant, capacity building in terms of acceptance. All of these are possibly the key challenges that we faced in implementation, all of this. Due to paucity of time, possibly I can't elaborate on this. Possibly we could do that offline in case you have interest in discussing some of these. One last slide of mine. All this while we've seen IT penetrating the e-governance part of it, a fair amount of penetration in the urban sector. But we believe as we move on, the rural inclusion would seriously be an area where possibly e-governance would make a larger impact to the audience. Green computing, we've seen large number of data centers coming up. Green computing would be a way to go, as well as service delivery over UID we've heard in the last session. One last point, social computing. We've seen that being used so frequently in the urban domain. We believe if that is also adopted as part of the e-governance and government citizen communication using the social computing mechanisms is used, then possibly it would rather help in penetration of e-governance in the country. Thank you for your time and sorry for the delay.